Hey, Skylar here from the Mint Change You Can Wear. I always get the question, if you were to start making coin rings all over again from the beginning, knowing what you know now, what would your basic setup look like? And that's a really good question. And today we're going to answer that. I'm going to show you guys a basic, really good setup. And it will also set you up for more complexity in the future if you want to keep going forward with coin ring making. And this whole video is designed to get all the necessary tools needed in under $250 to $300 range. Alright, let's get right to it. Okay, so the very first tool we need to talk about is the ring stretcher. And this ring stretcher is the one I highly recommend. This is a really basic Chinese or Indian made ring stretcher. The person who makes this one is Jet Tools, and they sell them on eBay for about $104. So you can't get any cheaper really than a ring stretcher like that. And I know the first question comes up is the quality. What's the quality like? First of all, the die plate, total garbage, but luckily for us, we don't use it. We'll just get this center thing out of here, get the die plate out of here, we won't use it. And the second thing is the handles will always tend to break. This one here is just a mandrel I put in. I put it in there right after I got it and it just keeps working. If you wanted to, you can just weld the original handle on there. The weak point is the threading, where it threads in here. So once you get rid of that or weld it on, you won't have any problems with it. The one real plus side here is it has a huge opening compared to a Durston ring stretcher. And another thing, the ring stretcher itself is larger. And that really opens up options for you too, making larger rings. And the other main question that arises is how durable are they? I mean, how long is it going to last me? Is it going to make a couple rings and then break? Well, I can tell you this ring stretcher I've been using for quite a while now. And just for reference, this is 100 plugs out of the coin rings I've made. And every single one of these rings has been made on that ring stretcher. So there's 100. Got a whole other jar, all made on this one ring stretcher. And let me tell you what, I don't hardly ever make clad coins. So the silver ones vastly outnumber. That just gives you a good example of how many rings I've made with this one ring stretcher. So durability for me is a non-issue. The next thing we're going to need is a reduction die. And the ones I highly recommend, they come from jasonsworks.com. This one is for quarters. It's a 0.9 by 1.0 17 degree die. So that's a good place to start. Start with quarters. And then as you go up to half dollars, Morgan dollars, you can just keep adding to your die collection. You're going to need a steel starter cone and a set of these universal stabilizer folding cones. You can get those also at jasonsworks.com. If you didn't want to use these things, you could just get yourself some ball bearings. If you wanted to start with quarters, all you really need is a 3/4 inch steel ball bearing. And for making a hole in your coin, you need a Harbor Freight 9-piece punch and die set. It's a really basic punch and die set. There are better ones. This one works great and it's the cheapest. You could punch out your hole with a steady hand and a sledgehammer. You don't recommend that. Chances are you could hit your thumb doing something like that or destroy the Harbor Freight punch and die set. So what I do recommend, the Harbor Freight 6-ton A-frame press. You could do without the 6-ton A-frame press, but it's just a really useful tool and it'll save your thumbs from getting smashed with a sledgehammer. Let's face it, you're gonna miss. Yay! Another really important tool are these coin centering cards from Skip King. This is a really great tool to have just to make life easy with making coin rings. Besides that, a nice steel mandrel and a deburring tool was really helpful to use also. Now, if you were to get every single one of these tools, including the 6-ton A-frame press, you'd be about $280 or under. Now that we have our complete tool list, let's go ahead and get started. So the very first step is to get a hole in your coin, this quarter. We're going to use Skip's card. Press it on there. Now it's locked into the card. And we'll slide it into our Harbor Freight punch and die set. Put in our punch. We'll put it in our 6-ton press and punch it out. All we need to do now is deburr the edges of that so that way it's not sharp, nice and beveled. Do that with our deburring tool. So we're going to do that to the other side and sand where we deburred to make it nice and smooth. Just heat it up to a dull red and we'll quench it. We'll be on our way. Now that's been annealed, and by quenching it we didn't harden it because it's a non-ferrous metal. And now we're going to start folding this into a ring shape. Now we'll take our annealed coin, put a little dry lube on it if you have it. This is Pepe lube, just the very bottom of a Pepe lube thing. we're going to start off with a starter cone, and what that's going to do is get the initial hard part of the folding out of the way, so that way we don't damage this cone. You can see we started the folding process now. We'll keep that going with the universal folding cone. Alright, that is now folded and ready to start stretching. Let's take a look at it. We've got the cone shape started. Now we're going to re-anneal it, re-sand this edge just to make sure no cracks have appeared during the folding process, and then we'll start stretching on the ring stretcher. Now we want to stretch this thing out till the rim side of this coin is completely touching this stretching mandrel. You want to make sure this ring is turning about a quarter turn every time you pull back on this handle. That is now all stretched out and ready to start sizing. And what we're going to size with is the exact same die we were just using to do the original folding process. And if you have it, a little Pepe lube wouldn't hurt. After a quick sizing, it looks pretty square. Now we're going to get rid of this sharp edge inside the ring now with the deburring tool. Sand it, and then we'll start finishing the ring out. Just keep deburring it so you can't feel a lip in there anymore. You don't want any rough, sharp edges in there. And this is just to clean up the deburring marks that are in there. To clean off the soot with some 4-0 steel wool, and then polish it up with a jewelry rag. And there you have it. A nicely finished quarter coin ring. Alright, make sure you like the video, subscribe to my channel, but do me a huge favor and don't be a YouTube commenter. You know the comments I'm talking about. Alright guys, thanks. Have a good one.